that in.
Terrific. And we're good here. Well, good Friday morning.
That's right.
Morning,
my friend.
I'm barely hanging on, but coffee this morning brought to you by
Solar Coffee.
Solar Coffee, which is actually every Friday morning.
I was about to say, that's the regular.
And Brian would be lying if I said I did not need an extra
shot.
hit
That's right.
of coffee this morning.
That's right.
Just
Some days are that way.
it is what it is.
That's right.
It is what it is.
You're repping your...
But I am.
Crazy awesome.
Shout out Basics who
That's right.
did this.
Who did
Well, actually,
this.
who've done the great printing for us. It's
That's
a great
right.
local company owned by a female,
right.
Catherine Height Dixon.
That's right.
And Dickinson, excuse me.
They're killing it.
They're doing a great job,
Yeah.
local in
Yeah.
town. Good to support them.
Yep.
But and then also the logo is with Grace Casey and Marrow Design. And
right.
so she did.
That's right.
Who did our
Internal, man.
internal?
Internal.
Was it our
it
executive
was
producer?
Home baked.
Oh,
Home baked.
okay.
You got to go higher for it, though. You
Higher.
got to go to the CEO.
Uh-oh,
You
Doug?
got to go all the way.
He did?
Doug. This is a Doug Lovett special right here.
Wow. Love to get him back in the mix.
right.
Just to
That's
thank
right.
him for that.
That's right. Need to
Well,
get him on one of these lives.
I know. Well, speaking of which, hey, Two Favorite Realtors on the internet. Sorry we didn't introduce yourself. Sandy Roberts along with
Bryant Lovett.
Bryant Lovett. Good Friday morning. I hope this is going to kickstart your weekend.
That's right.
It is humid. The humidity is out of control on my run this morning.
That's right.
Barely made it. But you know what? I'll tell you what.
But you're here.
I'm here.
We're here, everybody. We're going to bring you some good stats here this morning.
That's
We're
right.
going to drop some knowledge bombs, some strategies, especially in the wake of severe appraisal discrepancies.
That's right.
New inflation numbers are in. We're up I think it's up around 5% now as of this past month, which is insane.
Yeah.
But it's good for us to keep you guys updated on how that has influenced interest rates. Or should I say how it hasn't really influenced interest rates?
That's true.
Is probably the better way to say that. So we'll drop a couple different things here, but Sandy, let's open it up with talking about people moving to the Triangle.
Totally.
So
well,
what's happening? What are they doing? And more importantly, what are they spending?
this goes without saying, but the reality is, as we know, per the TAR report, Triangle Area Residential Report,
Yeah.
Listings are going 106% over asking. So if
Asking
people
price.
want to know, yeah, there are exceptions to that, but Triangle-wide, 106% over asking is what you can expect on average. To spend.
That's right.
So go ahead and tack on 6%.
That's right.
And you still may lose, right?
That's right.
That's an average.
Yep.
But that means that that will give you a good game plan. So going in or below is still not a good game
That's
plan.
exactly right. That is exactly right. If you are banking on being able to accomplish that, you're buying in the wrong market. Guys, a crazy stat that we've got is that 1 in 3 people are moving to the Triangle when they move here to North Carolina.
Wow.
1 in 3.
1 in 3.
The Triangle is exploding.
Yeah.
And so we are seeing tremendous growth. A ton of people, we've been saying this for a long time, but it's good to get more real numbers on that. And since that growth is taking place, people are moving here in a very real way. We've been saying that demand is real. It's not superficial.
That's right.
Because of these realities, we've just got to better prepare. For buyers agents out there, you've got to better prepare your clients. You got to better prepare your folks. Maybe that means that you're adjusting their overall search price range.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're taking someone's price range, knocking it by 6%, 8%, chopping it so that they can compete.
That's
they
right.
can actually present offers that can win.
But I think it goes back to a great stat today, coming 5 for 5, edition 123 from Pat Price.
From Pat Price!
Here's something let's keep in mind, and I thought this was a phenomenal stat. Come to us from someone in the Zillow world.
Yeah, that's right.
That people that were moving to the Triangle, they were spending on average, they were coming. Or sorry, what's the stat? The 70,000 stat.
$70,000 under the markets they're moving from. In other words,
Price points or what they're
price
spending?
point, what they're spending. In other words, where they're coming from is so much more expensive on average by $70,000.
$70,000. So compared to zip codes for people,
Yes.
$70,000 less, which that goes, and I think
Makes it easy for them.
Yeah, totally makes it easy, right? They're flush with cash.
Yep.
Generally speaking, if they've sold, where they're coming to, expectations of what money can get you.
Yep.
But that goes back to the fundamental pillar, which we've been stating for probably going back to episode 7. I'm just gonna guess.
Oh, random.
Is You know it. We are an undervalued market
That's right.
compared to similar metropolitan areas like
That's
Raleigh.
right. That's right.
And so that goes to say, so when people come here, they not only do they have cash, the houses they can get a lot more for their dollar. It makes it really challenging for people who are here because we feel like this is out of control. When is this going to stop? This is unfair.
Yeah.
People coming here.
When's it going to go the other way?
People are coming here to the drugs of 67 people a day to Wake County, 1 in 3 that are moving here to the Triangle. We know people moved here during COVID.
That's right.
We're the last census, number 2 state people were transplanting to. Georgia was 1, we were 2nd.
Yep.
The reality is people are like, this is the place to be.
That's right. That's right.
And so the demand is not going anywhere.
Nope.
So Brian, I think this would be a great jumping off point about, we talked about this in team meeting. Appraisals are going to continue to be an issue because you have to have the money to cover. And if you can, a lot of times it makes you it's hard to be competitive.
That's right.
What are some options that we might be able to recommend to those listening, trying to really compete, but then also work within the context of the monies that they do have to be competitive?
That's right. And not be like totally terrified.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're helping our clients like crazy when it comes to this whole appraisal discrepancy world.
Yeah.
We're able to help them navigate this without spending more cash than they may have already been planning on spending. That's crucial. So if you already have a certain lump sum in the bank, money for most of us is very finite. So, like what are we going to ultimately need to spend if we're dishing 6% over asking price? If we're dishing 8 to 10% over asking price, what does that mean for appraisal? What does that mean for cash out of pocket? And we've been telling folks, if you're going into this buying process with the mentality or with the expectation of a 20 to 15% down payment, maybe even a 10% down payment, that's what you're going in. That's what you've been working hard to save for. You've been going into this whole process with that mentality, then to take that cash and reposition it with your lender. So talk to your lender and say, what does it look like? My appraisal comes back $6,000 under where I need it. My purchase price is, let's just say $350. It appraises at $340. What am I doing? How do I make up that $10,000 gap? I only have so much cash in the bank. Drop the down payment plan. Drop it from a 20 to a 15. Drop it from a 15 to a 10. Drop it from a 10 to a 5. Drop it from a 5 to a 3% down. And take the other 3, 5, 10% that you had planned on down payment, put it towards the discrepancy, and you may actually come out even where no more cash was spent.
That's right. And just a quick caveat or like a side thing from that to branch off. A lot of people are scared of PMI.
Yes.
But let's reality.
Yes, I'm so glad you're going there.
I don't quick. I don't know how much you're paying. If you don't mind, I think mine's like $7 or $8 a month. I put down 5 to 7% on my recent purchase this year.
Yeah.
I'm paying $70 or $80 in PMI. Not that much.
Nope.
But you know what it was worth was being able to be ready to cover appraisal.
Yes.
But also, this goes back to right now. Fundamentally, the rates are still so low.
Yes.
I mean, hovering around 3% for top tier credit, 30-year fixed.
That's right.
That it's honestly, guys, it's more worth sometimes not only getting a home, one, absolutely it's worth, but sometimes two, not putting down that 20% to cover that appraisal, which we'll appreciate. So that, but in doing so, you might be able to the rate might even it all out.
That's right.
Because I know some folks like to go to the credit union so they can drop that PMI and not. Or put down 20, or not have to worry about the PMI.
That's right.
Sometimes, guys, it's not the devil.
That's right.
It's worth paying a little bit.
That's
Just try to pay it. Get to that 20% down that equity ASAP.
Right. And it will happen almost just naturally because of the rising purchase prices. So we're telling a lot of folks that PMI that you're so scared of, it's something that may only be around for a very short amount of time. So you, go ahead and increase your payment by $70, like you said, $70, $80 a month, depending on your credit, depending on, how qualified you are. But, that might be a reality for a much shorter time than you ever thought possible. It might be around for a year, might be around for 2 years, because that 20% equity mark, if we're speaking Spanish, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
But that 20% equity mark is going to come a lot faster because of the rising market.
That's right.
So you might be able to drop that PMI in no time.
That's right.
In like a year, maybe 2 years. Drop it, it's gone because the market has appreciated. Guys, we've seen almost 10% appreciation in 4 months time.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
So you could get to that 20%
in no time. So this is not something to be afraid of like it maybe was in the past.
A lot of times your parents are going to say, and my parents were like, PMI is the devil. Yeah, it's not money you want to give up, but it's
That's
not
right.
as much as they remember it.
Yeah,
and number
that's
two, the goal is to get into a home right now because this is probably the best best investment with your money
That's right.
right now.
That's
hey, Brian,
exactly
real quick,
right.
I'm going to end on this.
Yes.
And I think this would be good for us. Speaking of something that will not be in no time, week after week out, we're talking about, hey, we got we got big developers coming in, large swaths, new townhome developments, new single family detached, all across the triangle out 401, in Cary, Holly Springs, Knightdale, blah, blah.
That's right.
But what is one thing we got to keep in mind when it comes to these developments, or like the news of them or the developments themselves?
Yeah, because we get excited, right?
Yep.
And we get excited, because we're desperate for inventory.
Totally.
The problem is that there's this interesting, almost self-created delay to this inventory because builders are doing things differently. So we're gonna if maybe you heard it first from us, right? Maybe if you're gonna go out, that'd be awesome.
Your
right?
gift.
That's right. But if we're bringing you something here this morning that may very well prepare you for the next few days of home shopping. New construction is changing. It's no longer this pre-sale game. It's no longer this, first come, first serve.
No.
Get to that lot, reserve it. No. Just be the first to bring a deposit, and then you've got it. That's changing.
It is.
So it's no longer a situation where you can just select all the selections that you want, customize it to the hilt. Like, you can't necessarily do that anymore. Builders are holding their inventory and building spec homes. They're doing it like crazy, and there's a couple different reasons why. I won't make this long. A couple reasons. One, the prices of materials are going up so fast that they are going under contract at one price with you, and a lot of times paying more for materials later.
That's right.
Which means their profit margins are shrinking. So they are afraid to go under contract at one price.
That's right.
They'd rather build the thing.
That's right.
Know where their costs are at, and then list it at a price that is of that market at that time, which honestly is going to be higher than where they can sell it today.
And the problem with that is it's going to be a lag time.
That's exactly right. And so that we're going to feel this lag, and we're going to feel this sluggishness to our new construction inventory that otherwise in previous markets
they can pump out. Yeah, they can pump
right.
it out in 6 months.
That's right.
Easily, because that's kind of the basis for how the turn on new construction.
That's
we're
right.
seeing a lot longer. So unfortunately, there is not the pressure on the resale market is going to continue.
That's right.
Which is going to make it tough. But there is a lot of things that's slated to come. It's just going to be a little bit.
It's going to be some time. Yeah. So just be
materials
prepared for that.
and that.
That's right. So when we say that there's new construction coming, it is coming.
Yeah, be excited.
Be excited, but it is going to be at a slower pace than what we're used to, and we're going to watch it.
Totally.
We'll watch it, and we'll keep you guys updated on what that looks like. But the last thing I'll say on new construction, I mentioned it just a second ago, guys. It is no longer first come first serve for a lot of these builders. So if we're going to take you guys out to go see new construction, if you're out there with your real estate agent, just prepare on presenting your highest and best offer to that builder, let's just say on a Thursday, Friday, and it not being accepted or even reviewed until Sunday, maybe Monday.
That's right.
And builders are now starting to collect all offers. They're starting to review all offers and going with the highest bidder. That's new for us.
Yeah.
That's new for us in the new construction world. So keep that in
every
mind.
day something new.
That's right. You know what's funny about traveling the world sometimes?
What's that?
And getting out and seeing people, meeting people.
What's that?
You get people like my buddy Jonathan here. I met him in Mexico. Jonathan, shout out to you, man. Mi familia, mi primo.
That's right.
Mi primo. Anyways, it is fun to see you guys jump in here and be a part and to catch up with us every single Friday.
Yeah, we're just trying to make sense of the real estate market,
That's
trying
right.
to bring the best information to your doorstep, delivered to you personally through your two favorite realtors on the internet.
That's exactly
So we're
right.
trying to make sense, make a narrative, synthesize down, and bring to you, hopefully, in a way that you can take and use, if nothing else, enjoy. But that's all we got for this Friday. I need more caffeine before I hit the wall. But until then, it's a joy. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sandy Roberts.
Bryant Lovett. Guys, have a great rest of your weekend.
Awesome.